my name is Roman. I work as a PM at Gusto, and today I'll be talking about our new product that is called Flexible Pay that allows employees to get paid anytime they want. Before that, I would like to do a little intro on Gusto. Can I actually get a show of hands? Does everyone know what Gusto do? Okay, actually most of you do, so that's perfect, so I can actually breeze through this section. Where do I point and where do I click? Does anyone know? Okay, can you help me out? Oh, Jesus Christ. That makes sense. Sorry about that. There's a lot more in this presentation. Cool, so we're a what we call full service online people platform. What that means, in our case, that is HR, payroll, and benefits combined. Right now, we're focused on medium and small business market. We serve more than 60,000 businesses, which corresponds roughly to 1% of all employers in the United States. This is a slightly outdated slide. We're more than 700 employees now, spread across San Francisco and Denver, and we're processing billions of dollars of payroll. By this time, you're probably asking why a PM from a payroll company talking on the credit inclusion section, and that's actually a pretty good question. So that actually goes to our mission. At Gusto, for years, our mission statement hasn't changed, and that is, we would love to create a world where work empowers a better life. And I know it's a little bit vague, and I would like to a little bit unpack it. Internally, we break it down into three main pillars. They're all supporting the greater vision around making work empower a better life. The first two pillars are peace of mind and making it a great place to work for anyone, whether it's in the United States or in the future around the world. That's where our core product shines. Payroll and benefits automation provide just peace of mind for employers and employees, making sure that your employee is getting paid on time, that their tax is being taken care of, and then all benefits are actually distributed. That seems like a pretty trivial task, but this is something that we work very hard to make sure it's actually true for all employers. And the third pillar that we had for a few years now, and that is around personal prosperity, we haven't really touched at Gusto for many years until now. And there, we always had a thesis that being at the source of funds when employees get paid, for a majority of people, that's the main source of income. I know people in Silicon Valley will all have hopefully fat like stock options and so on, but for majority of the people, the payroll is the main source of income, and being able to either make smart decisions for employees if they trust us or help them make the right decisions, this is something that we always thought can actually make a big impact in the world. Aside from my main occupation at Gusto and my connection to financial inclusion through the work that I do there, I also share a deep personal connection to this topic. Growing up in Russia in the 90s, I saw firsthand how shitty it can be, the financial services that are provided to you. When I was a kid, my dad was an entrepreneur. He tried to start a few businesses, eventually succeeded. But at first, to get a business loan in Russia in the 90s, after the collapse of Soviet Union, this was something not as easy as to do as in US. So let me give you a little table here that compares small business loans in Russia and US in the 90s. You can kind of see where the problem lies. You don't need to be an economist to spot where the problem is. While entrepreneurs in US, all you had to do just walk into a bank and get a loan. My dad had to go to people you don't fuck with, and if you do, they drill your kneecaps and all other stuff. So, something very personal to me. Luckily, my dad didn't get any of his kneecaps broken, and eventually got enough money to send me to US to get education, and now I'm here trying to just pay it back. Cool. So, within global context of financial inclusion, we all know what that really means, and that is previous presentation we saw. Many people around the world are fully unbanked, or they have shitty financial services on the right, and we're trying to move them to the left. In the US, while unbanked population does exist, I would like to actually just focus on different segments, and that is maybe something closer to Gary's presentation around people who have access to financial services but get screwed over and over again by badly designed financial instruments. I would like to start with just few statistics. You've all seen them here and there, but just to really articulate, 4 out of 5 people in the US really live paycheck to paycheck. And we in Silicon Valley sometimes forget about this because, just very different situation. Majority of Americans actually have this situation. Almost half of them don't have $400 saved, and on average they have 10 grand in like credit card loans. You don't need to be an economist to know that something's not quite working. And inclusion in our sense and what we're trying to focus at Gusto is really trying to understand how we can design better financial products to help these people. So a year ago, we started this whole initiative around just trying to figure out what it means really for us as a payroll, as a HR company, to make an impact. And apart from doing all the going through all existing research, we read the Financial Diaries, the book I highly recommend. We also done, and after reading some of the other research, talking to experts, we actually went micro and tried to learn from our prospective users firsthand. And so we went to Craigslist, just got a bunch of people talk about their financial lives. And one anecdote that I would like to share, we talked with this man who's 43-year-old, and his main occupation is a dishwasher. Some of the things that stood out in his story was back in the 90s, he tried to get college education. He didn't quite succeed. Many reasons why it didn't work out. After the college, he suddenly realized that his student loans is actually something that he cannot get rid of for the rest of his life. Any of the jobs he was taking, the ability to serve his debt was at a lower rate at the rate of which his loans were growing. So he was effectively stuck forever in this situation. And there's a typo on the slide. It means regular. It meant to be regular payday loans. To make his life work, because his credit score is ruined, he had to rely on payday loans for any situation where he had a misalignment between his earnings and expenses that he was facing in his life. And also a very curious fact, and that kind of goes into topic of how complex the lives of these people are, financial lives. He would refuse to open a checking account. And it's not because banks would turn him down, but because if he were to open a checking account, government can actually garnish much more wages that they could do through payroll. So he was actively avoiding that and using prepaid debit cards to avoid that. So that's kind of like a curious anecdote on what these people have to, what kind of hoops they have to jump through to make their lives work. So let's actually play a little game. It's not really a game, sorry, but a little quiz. So imagine you're in a situation this man faces like almost 12 times a year. The rent is due tomorrow. So for example, today is October 29th. Rent is due on 30th. Very reasonable assumption to make. But the paycheck is coming on first of each month. So effectively each month, and then right now you have only $300 in your checking account. What it means is that for tomorrow you're short for $500. And most of us don't really face this situation often, but this is a reality for half of the Americans. So let's just see what kind of options do we have to come up with those $500 for tomorrow, given that your paycheck is not coming in for 3 days. Does anyone have any guesses what you can do to kind of get money to pay for your rent? Payday loan, okay. Anything else? I could not hear one person. I still could not hear that. So I'm sorry, I'm not doing a very good job here, so I'll just go straight to the options that I came up with. So yes, payday loan is one of the options here. And you can see the fees it's a lot. It's $15 per $100 borrowed, and that's coming to $75. You can get advance from friends and family. Very often it's not available for you because it's either awkward or your friends and family just don't have money or they're not willing to give you. Usually it also comes back with a favor. You have to take them to dinner or something like that. You can ask for payments from your employer. Not employers, again, do that. When they do that, it's really awkward and you're actually making this whole relationship just weird by asking your employer, hey, can you give me a few $100s? There are some other options. For example, there is a credit card cash advance. And the reason why the credit card is not on this list is because in most of the places in America, you can actually not use credit card to pay your rent. But you can withdraw cash, and that comes at a hefty fee. You can also incur overdraft. fee on your bank account when you let your balance go below zero, and you pay $35 every time you do that. Or you can just actually not do anything and let your landlord just hang on for 3 days and then pay late fees, which is on average of $70. As I said before, again, you don't need to be an economist to know that if half of America is faced with this situation every month or so, something is just not quite working, or there is at least opportunity to do a little bit better. And so this is where we kind of had our first hunch around where we can make an impact as a payroll provider. There are a few ways that you can do this. You can either tell people you can better budget, you can coach them and do the whole financial education piece. You can potentially help them save so they can use their own capital to never get in this situation where their cash flow misaligned and they just don't have money there. Or you can potentially provide them better credit products, and that's kind of the approach that we took that we thought was the most impactful. Because if you scale this fees to kind of the annual basis, if you have to do this almost 12 times a year, plus emergency expenses like medical, or your car breaks down, you cannot go to work and you still have to get money from somewhere, it adds up to $500 to $1,000, which is insane. People who are here in this room, you don't pay, you pay for your wealth fund single dollars, we're double digit dollars, but these people pay $500 to $1,000 per year just to live their life. So our solution is what we call flexible pay. The demo is literally just this 3 screenshots stitched together, so this will be very quick. In our product, no matter what the payroll schedule of employer is, we now allow to some employees cash out anytime they want. The money that is for the work they've already done. So I'll give you an example. Imagine two-week payroll cycle. A week in, you've already worked for a week. So you can go to our app, click cash out. With the salaried employees, we automatically calculate how much you earned, and we just send this money from from our balance sheet or whatever money we have as a gusto. Then on the payroll cycle, when your employer pays you money, we just deduct this automatically, make this whole experience seamless. So for employees, it actually doesn't feel like a credit product. When we message and when they talk about it, when we do user research, none of them say that, oh, it's a better credit card or something. No, they just say, it's just cashing out the money that I got. And for hourly employee, it's a little bit trickier. We have to do some assessment of work, and we do self-reporting of hours, and some of our competitors do something else, some other fancier things based on GPS tracking. Cool, and then next day, instead of just a very transactional email saying, hey, you got a loan, we actually celebrate the work that you've done. Something we've done at Gusto for a long time. We send a happy payday email with illustrations really around celebrating one's person's work, and the same goes for this product. It's no different. You're just being paid for the work you've already done. Before I get there, I just wanted to preface, and a week ago we did our first survey on the bigger side, just trying to understand how do employees feel about our product. We asked them product market fit survey, which is just a single question asking how disappointed you would be if we take this product away from you. And some of the quotes just to bring color to what we learned. I love flexible pay to ensure my bills are paid on time, as well as making sure I can always know I won't be out of money when I really need it. I selected this answer, and the answer was I would be really disappointed if flexible pay is taken away from me. Because life happens, and with flexible pay, I do not have to worry about struggling or waiting for my next paycheck. My life is so much more balanced being able to get paid so frequently on my terms. I truly don't want to go back to traditional pay ever. And flexible pay has saved me. I feel much more comfortable having a steady amount of money in my bank rather than anxiously waiting until the end of the month. It makes my ability to pay bills much less stressful. And the last thing I would like to say and show on the slide is the kind of numerical manifestation of this. When we ask how many of you would be disappointed if the service is taken away from you, we got the response rate of 85%. And when you're in a smaller startup or on a smaller team like we are, and you develop something for a few months and you release it out, you really hope that someone will care about this. But these people, they now rely on flexible pay to make their whole financial life work. And this is just heartwarming for us to see this, and also validates this is the problem worth solving and worth focusing. There are many challenges ahead of us, how to scale this for the rest of the Gusto, engineering, product-wise, everything else, how to scale it outside of Gusto, because our ambition really is every single American who has this problem, what I outlined before, deserves a better way to solve this. So we're hiring, I bet, like every single presentation I will end with this. So if you're an engineer, PM, or whatever, just like, yeah, contact me. Thank you.